at 270-522-2557.
And good morning, Tiger fans, and welcome to the Saturday Morning Quarterback. Last night at Tiger Stadium, the Tigers took the first step toward a potential Class 3A state championship by defeating the Edmonson County Wildcats 37-20. I am Bob Hayes, and I'm joined in the studio this morning by Coach Barnes, by Coach Earl, and two of Coach Barnes' close friends, former coaches Gary Bartlett and Jim Wilson. Last night's game featured a running clock late in the second quarter. The win by the Tigers allows us to remain home and face the LaRue County Hawks, who were victorious over the Union County Braves last night. I'll be back with Coach Barnes to break down the first half of last night's game after these messages from our sponsors.
Hello, citizens of District 4. Like me, many of you are worried about what is happening in our hometown. As the father of a 3.5-year-old, I'm very concerned about our financial health. I believe the next 4 years will be the most critical in the history of Princeton and Caldwell County. I can use my education, industry, and banking experience to make an impact. Caldwell County needs new ideas, vision, and leadership before it's too late. This is Jeff Sims, your candidate for magistrate in District 4. I'm asking for your vote on November 6th, paid for by Jeff Sims, Magistrate District 4.
Traveling can be great. Traveling on vacation, to see family, to a great spot to shop. But traveling to get your health care? Not so much. Caldwell Medical Center provides top-quality surgical services right here at home. Our surgeon, Dr. Sue Petty, and her skilled team provide outpatient, laparoscopic, and general surgery services to you in your own community so that you can be with your friends and family during your treatment and recovery. To learn more, you can contact Caldwell Medical Associates at 270-365-0332. That's 270-365-0332.
I'm Jared Jackson, and I'm running to be your district judge. I was born in Caldwell County and have been a practicing attorney in Princeton for the last 11 years. I'm very proud to be the son of two retired public school educators. When elected, I pledge to always treat everyone fairly and to administer justice in an impartial and unbiased manner. I have proudly served my community as a former president of the Chamber of Commerce and former co-chairman of Relay for Life. I'm committed to continued service to the citizens of Western Kentucky. Again, I'm Jared Jackson, and I would appreciate your vote on November the 6th.
Paid for by the campaign fund of Jared H. Jackson for district judge.
Back. And David, you got out to a big lead early last night, which allowed you to rest your starters in the second half and give our younger players some playoff experience.
Yeah, I was concerned going into the game that our kids were going to look us, they watched the film and, you could tell that they could see that Edmonson probably wasn't as good as Mayfield, obviously, and so I was concerned about us how we would come out, but I was really proud of the way the kids came out and played last night. And offensively, we did a really good job, except for two plays where we gave up sacks. And defensively, we got after them pretty good.
As always, when we win the toss, we are going to defer, and that's what happened last night. Starting with the first possession of the game, Edmonson County takes the kickoff at their 32, and 2 plays after they take over, after they pick up a first down, or actually this is what the first down was, they complete a 31-yard pass on 3rd and 17 down the right side. We had nobody over on that side. Did we just lose the guy?
Well, what happened there, when they went trips, we were playing zone coverage on the trip side. Single receiver side, we were in man coverage, so they ran a wheel kick out of the backfield, and the outside linebacker was supposed to pick him up. He didn't pick him up. That's why he's running free. So we made an adjustment real quick there. We just stayed cover 3 all across the board.
Well, we knew that something had either not been communicated or blown coverage or something, because he's wide open, nobody within 15 yards of him. But they end up not gaining enough yards to pick up another first down and have to punt. On the punt, Trail returns a punt from the 20, almost breaking it and almost electing not to pick it up because it looked like it was going out of bounds, and all of a sudden it got one of those bounces where it directly went to him, and he cut back across the field. And I thought a couple seconds in there he may take it like 80 yards for us, but he puts us in great field position.
Yeah, he got us great field position. He ran out of anywhere to go, and I think on the film you'll see that there was probably one block we got in it. Probably could have cut back in the side and maybe probably would have scored.
And I think maybe on that one I was there was a blocker that could have turned and gotten in the way of an Edmonson player coming behind him, and I don't know whether that forced him out of bounds, but he could not get the corner turned, as you say, and head upfield. But we got close there later on in the game we would get really close to breaking a punt. So we take over, and we get 2 6-yard runs by Derek Caldwell, who to me is obviously still running hard and looks like he's running lower like you all want him to do.
Last night he had a shoulder pad down. He ran over a kid over on our sideline, and he did a really good job of getting the shoulder pad level down last night.
I knew early in the season when he runs high, he's prone to maybe fumble when he gets hit hard, but classic running stance last night on him. And the next play was a 43-yard completion to Jameer Riley, who was wide open, but after the catch made an excellent run, not choosing to go out of bounds on the opposite sideline, but cutting back into the middle of the field to the Edmonson 7. Great route, wide open, and a great run.
The run was a good part of it. You know, Joby did a good job getting in the ball, and Jameer did a great job of making his kids miss there, and I thought he was going to score on it.
And on the next play, Joby has all kinds of time trying to find the receiver, and it looked like he probably checked down 2 or 3, looked at Derek right off the bat, but then came back to him, Derek wide open in the end zone for a 7-yard touchdown pass. So
that was a play that was really Derek went the wrong way on that deal, and so I guess that's why he ended up with a touchdown. But he was supposed to come to the right side instead of the left side, and Joby's first read was supposed to be in the right side of the field, and it worked out good for us. But that was really a busted play.
So did he realize he'd run the wrong route?
He didn't until he got to the sideline. Will told him.
You know, you're right. You just maybe that's enough to shake up the quarterback a little bit, and then he's over all by himself. And
Joby did a good job of finding him.
Oh yes, a beautifully thrown pass, because I thought it might be forcing him to catch it out of bounds, but he went up and made a nice catch. He's also great at receiving the ball. He's really got some good hands.
I think impressive on the touchdown, which you'll get to in a minute. The trace ran on the run. Derek makes a heck of a block on the corner to spring him for that touchdown. He does a good job blocking, too.
And Barrett added the extra point last night. Caldwell goes up 7-0 over Edmonson at this point. Edmonson gets the ball back after the kickoff at their 30-yard line, and I thought we did an excellent job last night of covering kicks, short pooch kicks, where we didn't allow them to gain anything.
Yeah, we pushed it, and then the one we got them backed up on a 5-yard line. Jake just told him to kick it harder down the middle of the field, and but I thought we did a good job on our coverage last night.
Excellent coverage, because I know that we'll talk about that play in a minute. You keep them off balance by how you punt, how you kick off, and so Edmonson gets the ball at their 30 on the first play. Smith, their quarterback, is intercepted by Caleb Burden, who returns it to the Edmonson 45-yard line. Smith, the first part of that game last night, he was not intent on running the ball, David. He was intent on throwing it or handing it off, and more handoffs than I thought we were going to see.
Yeah, I don't know how many carries he had, but up until last night, he was our main running back, and
he got out to the side on that, to the opposite sideline, and it just looked like instead of wanting to throw it out of bounds, he was just trying to see. He underthrew the ball by 15 yards, it looked like, and Caleb right in the right place at the right time. And I thought Caleb may go the distance, but people got in his way, and that's usually what happens.
I was hoping he'd get in the end zone on that, just for the fact that I don't think he scored this year, and that would have been good for him.
Well, I thought if he got past the pocket of players that brought him down, if he gets past that, there's nobody past him. But he couldn't get past those 2 or 3, and maybe some of our men were involved in that convoy over there. But the Tigers take over at the 45. Joby is immediately sacked for a 10-yard loss. Jameer runs for 3 yards, and then Joby hits Travis for a 15-yard pass. And Derek runs for another 12 yards, picking up the first down at the Edmonson 25. On the next play, and this is what you were referring to a while ago, Trace Holden, to me, takes a 1/2 inch pass or a 2-inch pass. We thought it was a handoff up in the booth, but we got that corrected with Todd at halftime. But anyway, Trace takes it, turns upfield, getting the great block from Derek, and we mentioned on the radio that the wall was set up.
Yeah, he had a lot of room to run there, and our receivers did a good job running. And like we said, Derek did a good job of picking that guy up on the edge.
He literally runs untouched to the end zone. Again, nice blocking to spring trace on that play.
That particular play, like you said, it's about a 3-inch pass. And when
I saw Trace go in motion, and I said to myself, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to see if he cuts in front of him. It looks like Joby had the ball out there, and if he did it flipped, it was only a 2-inch flip. I thought he handed it off to him, but
Sindelar got a lot of his yards on that deal doing that stuff. So
we'll give obviously the touchdown to Trace and the passing yardage to Joby in that case. But Caldwell goes up 14-0 at that point. Edmonson gets the kickoff, starts from their 28-yard line. They go 3 and out and have to punt with the Tigers taking over at our 47. We began a 7-play drive, the big play being a 39-yard pass completion to Oliver Parker. Good to see Oliver back in action, catching those greater than 20-yard passes, which he does so well.
The thing I liked, he caught a couple of balls in traffic with the defender on him, and he didn't let. The question was how's he going to react when he gets in the game after the hit he took last week, and he did a great job.
And then on either the next play or the play after that, we have another pass to Oliver taken that goes for a touchdown. Well thrown ball by Joby, but we have a penalty on the play, and so we have a 12-yard pass completion then to De'Eric, a 10-yard run by Jameer to get the Tigers in the end zone. On that, the penalty on that play was
they said we had linemen downfield, and that was one of those run pass option things, and we hadn't had it called all year long, and I haven't watched the film. I have to look and see, but I didn't see a guy. I mean, once the ball's out, whether it was lineman downfield or not, Joby got the ball out so quick on that play that there's no way I thought we had anybody downfield, but maybe we did.
It was a quick, maybe second and a half, and the ball was out of his hands, and a nice, beautiful throw. Oliver making another fine catch, but nullifies. But we get in the end zone. Barrett adds the extra points, and the Tigers go up 21-0 at that point. Oliver coming off the field, like you say, just showed no effects of the hit that he took against Mayfield last week.
I was proud of him, for him to bounce back, even to come in last week and play at Mayfield, it says a lot about how tough a kid he is.
So Edmonson then gets the kickoff. They begin at their 36-yard line. They go 3 and out and have to punt, and this is where danger strikes Edmonson County. Gabe makes the reception, and I knew when that ball was in the air he was going to get 10 yards, 15 yards on it, because the punt went directly to Gabe. He breaks through, makes one or two guys miss immediately, and then goes 66 yards to the end zone, cutting back across the middle of the field to our sideline, and excellent blocking on the play, excellent job of broken field running by Gabe.
When they first punted, and I saw, because Coach McGowan put in the reverse on that this week, and Trail, I thought, when I saw it happen, I was hoping Gabe would give it to Trail because that whole side of that field was wide open, and he didn't. And then the next thing I look up, Gabe's coming down the field and makes a heck of a cut over on our sideline to get the touchdown. But Coach Mack, he does a really good job on our punt return, and spends a lot of time with that, studying the film and setting things up, and last night it paid off for us.
Well, I saw the two back there. Normally we only have one, and I thought, well, we got something going on here. But it did look like Trail was set up to take the reverse. I mean, I didn't see him break immediately to that side of the field. Maybe he was letting Gabe drag over a little bit.
He waited a little bit to let it set up, but I thought Gabe was going to hand in the ball, and I think Trail would have gone untouched too on that thing.
If he got around the side, you're right, he was gone because everything was loaded to our side. Barrett adds the extra points, and still early in the game, Caldwell up 28-0 over Edmonson. On the ensuing kickoff, Edmonson doesn't handle it too well, and it's the kick that you referred to a few minutes ago, David, where the ball is bounds down there. They have a hard time picking it up or lack of picking it up, and they start at their own 5-yard line. The first play is an incomplete pass, and you all were sending the house on that rushing attempt. He barely got that ball off after circling around in the right side of the end zone. Blitz, I know somebody blitzed on that play.
Yeah, we brought one of the linebackers.
And then the second down, another heavy rush, another blitzing linebacker mishandles the snap, just drops it, but he does have enough sense to fall on it, preserving a touchdown for the Tigers, but letting the Tigers score a safety. So at this point, Caldwell goes up 30-0. And did we blitz much last night? I saw the blitz on that play, and maybe 2 or 3 other times. We didn't make a all night of blitzing, did we?
No, we there were certain sets that they'd get in that we were automatically sending a linebacker. But other than that, was about the only time we did it.
So the Tigers began at the Edmonson 43 after the free kick. Derek gets off a 13-yard run, but on the next play, Joby is sacked. And I don't know whether it was a fumble or not. Todd doesn't have it fumble in the paper, but John Kelly Hughes picks it up and is immediately down. Did they say Joby was down by contact on that play?
I don't know what they ever figured out on that one. I thought it was a fumble when I saw it.
Well, I did too, and John Kelly was able to take a couple steps, and if he gets past the guy that tackled him, he has a little bit of rumbling room out there. But I looked in the paper this morning, and we didn't show it as a fumble, so I thought maybe on the field the official was ruling him down.
I don't think they did.
But on the next play, Joby is intercepted deep in Edmonson territory. Looked like our receiver was open, but the pass was just a little bit underthrown.
Yeah, on that one, he needed to get that out just about a second quicker, and he'd have been in a lot better shape, but it allowed that defender not to get there. He just held on to it a little bit too long there.
Again, Edmonson, they take over. Jameer makes the tackle on the interception at Edmonson's 10. They get to the 26 on the next play. Results, and this is my wacky officials call of the game here, David. I hope Rachel is listening. But that's the play where Jameer goes up, knocks the ball in air back into the field of play. We didn't know whether it was an inadvertent whistle, whether Jameer had his foot on the sideline when he went up to back the ball in, or what. Over in front of you, what did you see?
I thought he was in the field of play, and I thought, man, this is a heck of a play. And but we had a 7-man crew, so the guy that was the 6 or 7, whichever one you want to call him, he said he was standing on the line. I said, there's no way he's standing on that line.
Well, he's overcovering his guy.
I think what happened, it surprised the guy so much that for a kid to be able to do that and think that quickly, and then for us to have a player there to catch the ball, and I think it just caught him off guard.
Well, I think he froze the official, and a good basketball move by Jameer then, just to because we didn't hear a whistle, so we felt like he had to have been on the sideline, but we also thought the official wasn't looking at his feet either on that play.
I think he just got caught off guard on it.
But anyway,
heck of a play.
They nullify the interception, doesn't stand, and now Edmonson has to punt, but the snap goes over the punter's head, and I'm talking 4 yards over the punter's head. Tigers take over at the 22-yard line on that. I know they turn it over on downs, but I'm not sure whether Edmonson recovered that fumble or one of our players got on it.
I think one of their players may have fell on it. One of our kids had it, and it came back out.
Well, it was 2 or 3 people had shots at it.
One of them was trying to pick it up, and I think that they ended up falling on it.
Well, we take over, and in 2 plays, we score a 9-yard pass to Oliver, followed by a 13-yard TD pass to Jameer. Blake Vibrett comes in at this point and adds the extra point. Caldwell County leading 37-0 over Edmonson at this point. and also pushes the clock into a continuous running clock. On the last possession of the first half by Edmonson County, their 7th possession of the night, they scored in 6 plays with huge pass plays covering 19, 37, 22 yards. The 22-yard pass getting to the Tiger 1-yard line. The quarterback, Smith, scores on a 1-yard run, and Edmonson fails on the 2-point conversion. Were we in the prevent defense on that drive, David, or the prevent that's not supposed to give up any yards?
Well, we substituted all.
So we had started liberally substituting.
Yeah, we had some younger kids in there in the secondary, and had our linebackers out. So that's just one of them things that'll happen when you get your younger kids in there. And
but good experience for them.
Yeah.
They find out what they how different it is from JV ball, and so the half ends with Caldwell County up over Edmonson 37-6. And we'll be back. We're at halftime right now. We'll be back and talk to David about the second half when we return after these messages.
I am Natalie White, and I am seeking the office of District Judge. Experience counts when electing a judge. I have that experience. I have been Assistant County Attorney in Crittenden and Lyon counties. I'm currently serving as Assistant County Attorney in Trigg, and I'm currently an Assistant Commonwealth Attorney in this judicial circuit. I have the experience to effectively and efficiently preside over trials to ensure fairness in all proceedings. Vote Natalie White for District Judge.
Paid for by the campaign fund of Natalie White.
Hello, this is President Donald Trump. We are doing great things all across America and certainly in the great state of Kentucky. Our massive tax cuts were the largest in our nation's history and helped create more than 4 million new jobs. We have great new trade deals, a wall being built on the border, the strongest military we've ever had, and we're taking care of our vets. We're getting great things done. I need Kentucky's help on Election Day. Please vote for Robbie Mills for State Senate. This is really important. Your vote on November 6th will keep our Make America Great Again agenda moving forward. Our country and economy is doing better than it ever has before. Let's keep it that way.
Paid for by Kentucky Tomorrow and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. KYTomorrowInc.com. Kentucky Tomorrow is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Here's a reminder from your Princeton Electric Plant Board. Meter tampering is dangerous. Tampering with an electric meter is not only dangerous, it is dishonest and against the law. Stealing electricity by tampering with an electric meter may result in your arrest and can even risk your life. Tampering with meters results in increased utility bills that everyone has to pay. If you see anyone tampering with an electric meter, call the Princeton Electric Plant Board right away at 270-365-2031. Princeton Electric Plant Board, Princeton's #1 energy source.
And we're back here with the SMQ, and now we're at halftime of last night's ballgame. David, big lead. What do you tell your players at halftime last night?
The biggest thing we did was, I told them I was really proud of the way they came out and played that first half, and when you start trying to, get kids in that haven't played in a while, trying to make sure everything, get all that lined up, and just basically is one of them deals where you go in and you relax at halftime, don't have to make any adjustments, and it was a good thing to do, because what they were doing sometimes, and they never got called, they were cutting our receivers. The corners would come up and they'd take their legs out, and then they cut Ben on a play, on a screen play, and the kid just came out and just took his legs out, and so I didn't want something to happen, and we got those kids out as soon as we could, and the score really doesn't reflect the way we played that first half.
Well, it does, and we'll hit that just briefly here in a few minutes. But in the first half summary, we score on 4 of our 5 drives. We score on 5 of our 6 possessions with the Gabe East punt return. Again, I was just impressed with how the field was holding up after 4 inches of rain here during the week, and most of it coming on Wednesday and into noontime on Thursday, because all I had as a guide was what that field looked like at Mayfield the week before, and it was just horrible.
And Bruce Farmer did a great job of getting that field lined off, because he had to do most of it yesterday morning, and it was still wet, but he did a really good job of getting that done.
Well, I can tell you the broadcasters appreciate a well-marked field. Mayfield, you had to guess from the 50-yard line on down away from us where the ball really was. But the Tigers, having deferred with the opening toss, get the kickoff and start the third quarter, and we begin play at our 39-yard line. We pick up a first down on a 5- and 3-yard pass receptions by Logan Smiley, and a thundering 14-yard run by Travion. Thought Travion might bust it. Took a couple. It ran over one guy, and thought he was going to go off for a longer run. But and then we have a nice pass play to Barron Wells, but a penalty negated most of that pass coverage, pass and run by Barron on that play. And then on fourth down, we elect to go for it deep in Edmonson territory, and fourth down pass is incomplete. And Joby's still in the game at this point, and we knew the next possession he was on the bench watching the action. You wanted him to come back in and just get the rust off a little bit, David? Or
we wanted to keep our offensive line. We kept them in there, and we subbed out the other skill positions, the receivers and the running backs, and wanted to get Joby one more series in there. Hopefully we wanted to get a score on the board, and but we wanted to get him one more series.
Edmonson takes over on downs, but on the first play from their 47, they fumble the ball. Recovery, I think, by Seth Slayton.
I think it's right.
And we knew there were a bunch of, we couldn't see all the new kids coming in, but we got to the point where we were calling Kyrese's White's name quite a bit last night. So that young man was playing well all over the field, too, by the way.
He's lined up wrong, though. He's supposed to be out on the tackle, and he's lined up on the guard. It's kind of like that night we played the Catholic. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, maybe he found something. Maybe he found a secret that he could penetrate better at that spot than the other spots.
He may be.
So we recover. Tigers began their second drive. We only have 3 drives in the second half, and we're obviously substituting liberally. And Jack Stevens in at quarterback at this time, and immediately has a 7-yard loss, I think, when he either turned the wrong way or the back went the wrong way on a busted play. And he's in there long enough to throw one pass, and it's incomplete. But just to get those kids in there and get that feel is huge for their growth and game experience. It's different than JV football, that's for sure. Then we punt, Trip, 2 punts on the night. This is the first punt. Gets off at least a 35-yard punt, pinning Edmonson back to their 5-yard line. We covered the punts well last night, too, the 2 that we made.
Trace did a good job of getting down there in front and not letting that ball get in the end zone.
Excellent coverage on our punt coverage team. So the second possession Edmonson has last night, at their 5, they begin a 95-yard drive, take 7 plays. The big play, a 47-yard pass completion. They get down to our 15-yard line, the quarterback, against a lot of our reserves, runs through the hole and wide open run to the right side of his formation, scores on a 15-yard run. They convert the 2-point conversion, and we lead at that time 37-14. On our third possession, or attempt third possession, we can't recover an onside kick, and looked like we just had one of our players run right past the ball on that, David.
I probably should have went back with our regular hands team, our first group, but we went ahead and, we didn't want to get somebody hurt, banged up, so we went ahead and went with the second group, and, they haven't seen that before, and, it's going to happen, those younger kids. And
again, it's something for them to be concerned about. Experience teaches you how to play better, so to speak. So they get the onside kick, and they're back in business at the Tiger 37. They score in 5 plays on a 27-yard pass play. 2-point conversion fails. And again, on these 2 drives that they have, because we don't have our backers in there, our blitzing and our second string, Smith has too much time to sit back there and see what he can get done. And on this touchdown pass, he had probably 6 seconds or so, 7 seconds to get that ball off and completed for a touchdown. on that, but the extra point fails. Tigers lead 37-20 at this point. We get the kickoff for our third possession, take possession, our 41-yard line. Gabe Dyer is now the quarterback. A errant snap on first down gets us behind the chains with an 8-yard loss. Runs of 3 yards by Logan McGowan and 6 yards by Logan Smiley. Not enough for a first down, and the Tigers punt. And again, Tripp delivers another outstanding punt, this one 44 yards, ball down at the Edmonson County 14. Edmonson County only has enough time to run 2 plays, and the game is over. And that's the breakdown of the second half. And I'll be back with the final segment of this show and talk with Coach Barnes after these messages.
Hello, this is Dorsey Ridley. Quality education, good jobs, a strong economy, and improved infrastructure. I've stood in the halls of Frankfort fighting for these values. These are the values that will move Western Kentucky forward. I'm Dorsey Ridley, and I hope you will stand with me on November the 6th to ensure our region will continue to prosper and grow. I humbly ask for your vote to improve the quality of life in Kentucky. Paid for by Dorsey Ridley for State
You can
Senate.
always expect great things at Planters Bank. When we say expect great things, what we're really saying is Planters Bank is here to provide the financial services you need. Planters Bank believes in the strength of our community and is a full-service financial institution. Our employees have a true passion for helping our neighbors, and it shows. See Jake Pepper and the rest of the Planters Bank staff at 208 North Jefferson. Planters Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
A taste of the Orient and authentic Chinese food awaits you at the Great Wall Chinese Restaurant in Princeton. Enjoy the lunch buffet Monday through Saturday, 11 to 3:30, and the dinner buffet from 3:30 to 9. Friday and Saturday night, enjoy the seafood buffet featuring onion shrimp and frog legs. Be sure to ask for your coupon card. Buy 9 buffets and get 1 free. Dine in or carry out at the Great Wall. Open daily, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Located in the Princeton Plaza off Highway 62, West Princeton.
And welcome back to the final segment of this morning's show. David, the good thing last night coming out of the game was a win. We keep advancing. The score is not indicative of what we got done early in the game. We didn't let them stay in the game long. We didn't get anybody hurt, I presume.
No, we came out in good shape on that.
Good. And a lot of players got in action. We were noticing in those last 2 drives of Edmonson that you were liberally substituting 2 and 3 and 4 players at a time, letting all those kids get in the game, which I assume every kid got in the game.
I assume sometimes that doesn't happen. It's a hard deal when you got a running clock trying to get everybody in, and hopefully we did.
Well, I would think that if I'm on the sideline and I haven't played, I'm going to be barking in somebody's ear. So I don't know if we had any of that going on or not. But after the game on the field, what did you tell your players?
Told them that, they knew when I met with them before the game in the team room there. I told them, I said, I was nervous, and, because of you never know how kids, 16, 17-year-old kids are going to come out and play. And, you look at the season, either your first 5 games are non-district games getting you ready for your district, and then you got your district games, and then you got playoffs. When playoffs come, it's either win or go home, and there's a little bit more pressure there. And I definitely didn't want the season to end and be turning equipment on Monday. And, our kids responded and came out with a great effort. And the other thing was we only got really 1 good day of practice in, and but that was a concern.
Well, I agree with you. I think what I saw last night was the kids realized the urgency of the situation and took care of business. And each game we go further in the playoffs, the team gets a little tougher. So that urgency, having had it in the first game, should carry over to games 2, games 3, 4, 5, hopefully, and all that. So I thought they responded well. I don't know I know you always judge how they warm up as to how they're going to start the game.
I thought we last night was as good as we warmed up. Paying attention and not goofing around and paying attention to details, looking the ball in, and I thought we did a really good job there.
And that always carries over. If you're not goofing around, you're not going to be goofing around at the start of the game. That's just human nature. If you're serious in warm-ups, you're going to be serious in the game. So looking at the stats, and I'll go over these, Caldwell did not have a really outstanding night. I think we were out first down outgained total yardage. This is one of David's great stats. Edmonson had the ball for over 30 minutes. We only had it for 17. But anyway, Derek, 5 carries for 40 yards. Logan Smiley, 3 for 14. Jameer, 2 for 14 and a touchdown. Travion Samuel, 1 for his bruising 14-yard run. Logan McGowan, 3. Jack Stevens, -7. Joby Jaggers, 4 carries, -41. And the team on that errant snap, when Gabe was in there, for 8-yard loss. 18 carries, 29 net yards on that. Pass receptions, Jameer, 2 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown. Oliver Parker, 2 catches, 49 yards. Derek, 2 catches for 21 and a touchdown. Barron Wells, 2 catches for 10 yards. Logan Smiley, 2 catches for 8 yards. Trace Holden, 1 for 25 yards and a touchdown. And Travis Newsom, 1 for 15 yards. 12 catches for the Tigers last night. Joby, 12 out of 17 with 1 interception, throwing for 183 yards. And Jack Stevens, 0 for 1 in his only passing attempt. Looking at the tackles, Caleb Burden leads the Tigers with 6, also an interception. Barron Wells with 5. Russ Bashir with a sack and a caused fumble last night. 4 tackles. Logan McGowan, 4 tackles. Kyrese White, 4 tackles. Seth Slayton, 3 tackles. Kyrese also causing a fumble last night. Seth with a fumble recovery. Tate Van Hoosier, 3 tackles. Travion Samuel, 3. Devin Kilgore, 2 tackles and 2 sacks. Max Kramer, 2 tackles. Drew Davis, 2. Mitchell Harrelson, 2 tackles. Max Ashley, 2 tackles. Cameron Baker, 2. And 1 tackle each for Aaron Hensley, Elijah Shaheen, Dylan Walls, and Dylan Cavanaugh, and Gabe East. Quite a change in Gabe's defensive game from one week to the next, but we didn't need him last night as we did in Mayfield. And 1 tackle for Gabe, but a big scintillating 66-yard punt return on his behalf. Again, it's one of those situations where you don't win the stats, but you win the game easily. That's the good thing.
Yeah, the stats, it doesn't matter. It's the score, and last night we were able to score quickly. I don't know how many plays. We didn't run very many plays offensively, I don't think.
We were under 40 plays last night.
But again, we were pretty efficient in getting points on the board, and that's what we wanted to do, and get those starters out and get them get the running clock. And fortunately, we got that right before the second quarter was out.
And as we say, that last night's game is in the rearview mirror, and our opponent this coming week will be the LaRue County Hawks, who won over Union last night, 48-29. LaRue County has to come to Princeton. Practice week, David, looking about the same, I think, maybe a mirror image of this week. I think rain's in the forecast Monday and Tuesday. So
Tuesday we're out of school, so that'll be a little different scenario. But because of the time change, we'll probably come in about 2 o'clock on Tuesday and watch film, and hopefully the rain will be out of here and we'll be able to practice.
And as you mentioned earlier, everybody came out of the game injury-free. So when Ben got chopped down from the side, that didn't create any additional problems. Good. But as I said earlier, we got done what we needed to do last night. The final score certainly didn't indicate the Tiger domination that was there. Coming up this Friday, David, game time is still at 7.
Well, their AD emailed me this morning. They want to play at 7:30, but that's not been finalized yet.
Okay, well, we knew last year, maybe it was the LaRue game last year, that they came over and we started at 7:30.
It may have been because he emailed me this morning.
And again, we've gone over a little ticket information here. I know last night we read a couple times on the air from Kim. Tickets for chairbacks were $10. That covered $5 for the chairback, $5 for the game ticket. Something like that will be in play this coming Friday night.
Yeah.
And any final thoughts before we move on?
Well, I'm really proud of our kids, the way they came out and played last night. Like I said, at one point there when they were scoring and they did the onside kick and they ran the trick play, I was real close to putting our first group back in, but Tony Franklin, he always said, you want to get to the next game, and you want to protect those kids, and so he was kind of in my ear there. I didn't. I told Will, I said, I'm getting ready to send that first recruit back, and I'm glad I didn't. I mean, he said, Dad, we got a running clock. It'll all work out, and it did. And but I really didn't want them to get another score. But again, I was really proud of the kids. We move on to the next round, and next week's going to be big because you got Jaggers and Jaggers against each other. Which was the same scenario in round 2 last year, so it's kind of a rematch deal.
Well, and their coach is Josh.
Yes, that's Marty's son, Josh, who was on that 98 team that we beat in the state championship game.
Oh, I remember that game well and that season well. So, no, it's a situation where I wish I would have been in the locker room last night when those kids that don't play much come in with smiles on their faces. That's heartwarming to a coaching staff, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And talking about what they did, what they didn't do, what they did well. Kyrie's was talking probably about his domination of the defensive line. Just whatever fun you can have in a situation like that.
Yeah, it was a great night.
Final thoughts, Coach Earl.
Well, Bob, I'm pretty happy for my kids, my knuckleheads. Got practice Monday and Tuesday. After practice, we're out of school that day too. And Monday, we got practice again. Thursday and Friday, we got the game coming in. And that's it for me, Bob.
And Earl, the other thing about this end of the season thing is that we feed the team quite a bit toward in playoff season. So we had a great meal this past week. We're going to have another one this coming week, and take care of the kids for me this week.
I will.
That's going to wrap it up for another Saturday morning quarterback. Remember, this coming Friday night, the Tigers take on LaRue County in the second round of the playoffs. Join Coach Barnes and me for the pregame interview, either at 6 o'clock or 6:30, depending on game time, followed by the broadcast at 6:30. There will be no live stream next week. Audio portion will be up and running. The video portion after the game is over. We thank you for listening to today's show, and for Coach Barnes, Coach Earl, Coach Barnes' two friends, Jim Wilson and Gary Bartlett, my engineer, John Miller. This is Bob Hayes saying so long for now.
Fresh off a bye week and healthy, the Titans travel to AT&T Stadium to play the Dallas